Feedback. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinga.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you. Feedback. Feedback.
The Coleman Young Municipal Center, also known as City County Building, at 10 o'clock this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Tell us who is Dalbo, please.
Dalbo's, I've been in this community all my life. I worked 15 years with the Charles Wright Museum. And after that, I opened my own gallery here in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And we finally emerged into a bead museum, an African bead museum, in 1985.
1985. That's a B-E-A-D, a bead museum.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And the reason for that, the 15 years I spent at the African American Museum, which is now called CW, I was exposed to a lot of African material culture. And to my amazement, I discovered that beads were used to record history, everyday activities in the community. Mm-hmm. They were never used to adorn oneself. That was amazing to me.
Wow. Wait a minute. Back up, please. You said some museum is called CW. I know you don't mean the Charles Wright Museum. Dr. Charles Wright Museum of African American History?
Yes.
Oh, now they're reducing it like they did the Joe Louis Arena down to the Joe. So now they're just going to call it CW?
Yes.
That is an insult. An insult. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. but that kind of stuff just...
After we opened the museum, we've operated in the community for the last 23 years with no visitors from the inspector's department. They showed up November of last year, gave us a bunch of fines, and tried to close the building at that time. This is one of our buildings. It's the building that we were going to house the museum in.
Okay.
We managed to fight them off, but anytime you're fighting with the inspectors, there are fees you got to pay. So we won that round. In fact, the case was dismissed.
Okay.
Now, June of this year, I received a blight fine.
Okay.
And it stated that the building would be demolished in 1 week.
Wow.
So I called some folks. They got involved to help me. And we're at the stage now, they're going to demolish the building. We're trying to get them to allow us to save the artwork on the building. And that's where we are now. And they are adamant about not allowing us to do anything, which I thought was quite strange. From my observation, all parties involved are African people, which is quite disturbing to me that we can't preserve our history that has a 23-year running history behind it.
I understand.
But it's reminiscent of everything we try to do that's representing Africa and ourselves. It always meet with resistance. But this time around, our museum have visitors literally from all over the world. So we have a lot of presence on the world stage. And I was told that we're 30th in the list of people who draw tourists to
the United States?
To the Detroit.
Oh, wow.
That's a major accomplishment.
Yes.
When you're dealing with basically a community-based museum.
Yes.
But the reason for that, beads have been around for like 30,000 years.
Oh, wow.
There's no culture on this planet that has not had some kind of relationship with beads. Now, beads traditionally in Africa were used to denote status, rites of passage, initiation. they were used to communicate all kinds of information. For instance, in Mali, if a young lady was married, she wore beads to let everyone know she's married. And if she's not interested, she wore beads. If she is, she wore beads. Divorced female elders all wore beads to communicate their status.
Wow.
In order to become an adult, you had to wear beads. You couldn't get there just by being an old person. You had to have earned these rights to become an adult. So beads was something that communicated with all people, and they come to where we are located in the city of Detroit to visit. So I could not understand why they would not try and preserve the building as opposed to destroy it. It says that you have no cultural identity in you if you're going to destroy something that's been at 23 years. And the community has not done anything but look out for us. They do not attack, vandalize. We've never had a robbery over there in 23 years. Because we know more about preserving culture than most people will allow us to hold on to. The culture is all around you. Here, we're literally living in someone else's culture, so therefore it's not communicating the same information to us.
Right.
It can be hostile to us. It can treat us as though we have no connection with it. But in Africa, you are constantly reminded that you are part of this particular culture.
Now, before we go too far, what I want to know is there any contact information that you can give the audience and the viewers so that we can, support your efforts?
Yeah, we have a GoFundMe campaign running because we're always planning for the inevitable, that the city might change its mind and allow us to take the materials out of the, stand the artwork up, and then add that GoFundMe is Dabo's MBAD African Bead Museum is the email. The telephone number is 313-898-3007, and the GoFundMe is on Facebook, which is Dabo's Facebook page.
How do you spell that?
DABLS.
On Facebook.
Facebook.
DABLS
Yes.
on Facebook. Now we need to give the telephone number again.
313-898-3007. And we also having a festival August the 10th from 9 to 10 p.m. And that is to talk about whether or not we reached our goal. The goal was to try and raise $200,000 because the estimates that we've got so far are running around 150. So 200,000, we will have enough to make the changes. If not, we got to still do something with the vacant land to make it usable.
Okay, now you mentioned earlier, I think there were two buildings.
Yes.
Are they next to each other?
Yes. Only the alleyway separate the two buildings.
Okay. And there's no problem with the second building that you've been told about?
No, there's no problem with the second building. It's the first building that's on the corner, which has been an iconic building.
Right.
That building is known literally all over the world because that's where people who visit
Right.
come and take pictures. Now, prior to COVID, we were averaging about 30,000 people a year,
Wow.
which is good for a community-based museum.
Yes.
We have been in New York Times 3 times, Wall Street once, Canadian newspaper, which is a Star, South American newspaper, lots of other newspapers. We were getting all kinds of support from all people on this planet. It seemed like it was something that brought the various cultures together without any fanfare.
Right, right.
We've had weddings there.
Oh,
People have had
wow.
graduation pictures taken there. Places. We won an award from Adweek.
Okay.
Now, Adweek is the trade publication for people who advertise. They gave us an award for what is called branding. That's when what you're doing is known all over the world. And this museum is literally known all over the world because we focus on beads, which every culture on this planet had a relationship with. And the reason why we have those beads today is because they were forbidden to be used in Africa from the 1800s forward. They stopped the use of beading. Anyone who's trying to conquer you or control you, go after those things that is the heart of your culture. And beads were the heart of African culture.
Wow.
Now I've got a question. When you said that they had given you some kind of notice about 5 days, okay, so that part is already over with in that, because you were mentioning the August festival.
Yeah.
And I want to be sure about the festival. That's 9 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, so is there like a stay or something that happened to keep them from enforcing it in the 5-day period they had mentioned?
No, the building that we're operating out of is separate from the building that they're going to demolish.
Okay.
We had planned to open the Bead Museum there. I have been collecting African material culture, which we know as African art, because I felt that we need to see those pieces and normalize them. So if you go back prior to 1980, the word Africa was not normalized in this city. Now it's used as though people don't turn their head when they hear it. So there are things that happen that normalize things, and that was the reason why we chose the name African Bead Museum, so that word would just be floating around there and we get used to using it.
Oh yeah, because at one time, a few decades ago, when it was brought up to identify
Yes.
if you were an African American,
Yes.
that term is used, and then you'd find some person say, "I ain't no African." I mean, just strange response, strange response.
That's what indoctrination does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you take a person and only say negative things about him, that person will perceive himself as being negative. So the word Africa was negative. But another word we turned around that was negative for a long time, the word black. See, I can remember those are fighting words.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
now we prefer that over Africa, which is very strange, since everyone on the planet, most of the people come there and they from every continent. They take pride in being an African, or they're Europeans, but we seem to be slow by embracing Africa. We use a term where Africa was called Akibaland 500 years ago.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, we identify ourselves by whatever name is being used in the present.
Popular, yeah. I have it just in the past years been there, and I can vouch for the fact that I've seen international, well, I'll just say other ethnicities, because I can't say where they were from, but they were definitely other ethnicities, and they actually enjoyed, as I did, just looking at the various things, because it's just so much there. Now, maybe you could also give us an address for it, so that people, I know that, I just want to tell people now that if you remember where the old Northwestern High School, I guess it's the new Northwestern now, right?
It's on Boulevard.
Yeah, it's on the other side of Grand River. But if you give a numerical address,
It's 6559 Grand River at West Grand Boulevard.
Say that address again.
6559 Grand River.
Okay, 6559. Okay, and now it's near Tabernacle
That's
Church.
across the street
and
from Tabernacle Church.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So many people are aware of Tabernacle Church on Grand River near West Grand Boulevard. So the Dabo's Museum is across Grand River from that church.
Yes, and we have beads in there on display. The oldest one we have in there is 6 million years, and it's made out of amber.
Oh, wow.
All the beads are made out of natural materials, so they are old just by the stones that are used. Those stones are old, and most of the beads that were made into something else probably date back 300 years ago. Most of the beads in there are averaging about 300 years ago. See, if we remember our history, trade beads was used before they began to enslave us. They were trading. The Europeans would come to Africa with beads, and they would look around to see what the other beads we were using, and they made these beads out of glass, and they caught on. Most of the countries that are trading in beads in Africa were not aware that they were trading in beads, because people kept the things that they were trading with. Those were trade secrets. It was only in the 80s that they discovered that some of these beads were made in countries in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Now I wanted to ask the hours of operation.
12
No.
to 5 p.m.
12 noon. to
12
5
noon.
p.m.
Monday through Saturday.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you to repeat, because I always tell people, we didn't do it at the beginning of this show, I always tell you have your pen and paper handy, because you may want to put some information down. Well, here's an opportunity. We're going to give you the phone number, the Facebook page, and the address so that you can support Dauble's Bead Museum. I think it's very important, again, as the brother said, and I co-sign this myself, that we lose a lot of our culture as a result of again, the indoctrination. We this is an alien culture to us, although we're still a part of it. We still have our own cultural roots. So if you've got your pen and paper handy, we're going to give you the phone number, Facebook page, and the address of Dauble's Bead Museum.
6559 Grand River, 313-898-3007. What was the other one?
Facebook.
Facebook is Dauble's. If you type in Dauble's, it will automatically pop up. And there's about 4 pages on Facebook that leads you back to us, because people had a tendency, when they post pictures, they would create Facebook pages. So we have 4 Facebook pages. Facebook connects all of them. So if you just, any one of them will take you to the same place. Dauble's. It's spelled D-A-B-L-S. And that's an acronym for my children: Davida, Aleki, Bakari, Lewis.
I'm just not understanding how the government, the city government, the council, those who are in demolition, just gloss over. They don't seem to have an understanding or want to have an understanding.
Well, history
of
is
our
more
history.
than just history.
Jeez.
K212 is not an African perspective about this planet. It's a European perspective. Those things, words and history, become emotional. They are what you rely on, and that they're what you protect. So I didn't expect anything but them to be hostile. But I didn't realize they would go to the extent that they did. Once we conceded, would not allow us to just leave the mural up there. But then I realized how important, see, what we call art, the rest of the planet, which is mostly African, it's material culture. It represents a part of you. So, but we have been put in a position that we're we're using art as an income. So we paint pretty pictures that are related to anything without realizing when viewers see that, they're reaching conclusion. Art was never used to communicate with words. It's a solid way of communicating, that passing on of information about the culture group. Now we got all kinds of symbolism in Africa because they did not use art to entertain you. They use it to educate you. And that's a part that we have missed. Remember, the art that's floating around the city wasn't there when we grew up.
Right,
That's
right.
true.
The only art there was political art.
Right.
I remember the Wall of Dignity. There was just one wall,
Yeah.
and the world went mad over it.
Right.
But now we got all these artists
Yeah.
who have no culture base,
And they're
so they're putting
painting
stuff
all
up.
over the city.
Yeah, which is good, but
Yeah.
they're supposed to be educating the people.
Can't
Right.
relate.
Now, in the meantime, I want you to mention the PayPal again.
Yes,
How do people get to PayPal to support you?
you can reach PayPal by calling. No, I keep forgetting we got a new vehicle in that now. The email, you just email Dabo's PayPal, and it will pop up.
Oh, okay.
It's very easy to get to PayPal.
Okay.
It's Dial Dabbles and PayPal.
Dabble's PayPal, and it will come up on your computer.
Yeah.
And then it has the instructions
Yeah.
right there, right?
GoFundMe is the one that we're actually campaigning on, but PayPal is a way to get access to us. But we have a campaign going on GoFundMe. It's just set up for you to go there and donate $1 million, and I'll pick up the phone and call you and tell you thank you.
All right. Well, I definitely want to thank you for being with us, and I want to have you keep up
Yes.
with us to let
Okay.
people know as we go along, and whatever we can do to
Yes.
help this, let us know.
May I say this?
Yes.
I was working with the museum when the city decided to give them $6 million to build the first museum. But it was always promoted as the people raised the money. You know, Kobe Young came to that museum one day. He saw it, and he said, "Where's Charlie?" That's what he called Dr. Wright.
Oh.
So he asked him, how much money you need to do this museum? He said, $6 million. So he went back to the city council and came up with the $6 million. Now we have a mayor that it wouldn't even be feasible to ask him to save this museum. Remember, we only have 2 museums in this country, in this city, and that's the Charles H. Wright and Embed African Bead Museum. If it goes, then we have to go back to 1965. That's when the first one was invented, and start all over again. And you're not supposed to lose your heritage like that. If
That's
you
right.
get 23 years in there, it should move forward. So
Gotcha.
the people of Detroit, it was not the people who raised that money. It was the mayor decided to make that museum
help
happen.
us. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us
Thank you for
this
inviting me.
morning. Certainly. And we have to go to a break now, but we definitely want to keep you with us. And this coming Saturday, there's a conference line that we want you to be on as well. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're welcome. And those of you who are tuned in, I'll refresh your orange juice, your coffee. Call somebody, tell them to tune in to us, and we'll be back momentarily.
I'm James Ford, founder of the Obama Weekend, and a partner of the Hood Research Team, composed of the knowledgeable Theo Broughton, the super analyst Henry, and the colorful Al Martin. This team discusses politics, seen and not seen, at the national, state, and local level. But to enhance the goals of this team, Join or donate to Hood Research by visiting Twitter or Facebook, or visit hoodresearch.org, or call 248-234-2371. You can also join Hood Research on Phonecast every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by calling 978-990-5000, access code 338729. Thank you very much.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, there gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Wallman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the chew germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.
Call somebody. I'm Theo Broden, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host.
Thabiti Mpinga, and we welcome you to the program.
That's right. Want to say happy Monday. And you know, this past weekend, we had an opportunity to meet a lot of new people, and we're really happy about it. Enjoyed the in-person gathering, and we're going to be able to share it with you soon. Today, as I said earlier, we came on before we could say hello to folks, is that here is either feast or famine. And our next guest with us is the wonderful, knowledgeable
Is that what it is? All right.
It started from the Detroit Public School System, and his name is they call you Barbara Gibson, right?
Yes, that's an honorific I hold most dearly.
You hold it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And the numbers here, 868-4336. And if you have some information you want to share, questions you have, feel free. Now, tell us who is Barbara Gibson?
Sid the Wise Owl.
Well, that's,
yes, Sid the Wise Owl.
The way you say it sounds like the crazy owl, right? Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, Barbara Gibson is a name that I really worked hard to get. I am a former DPS teacher. I worked at the Malcolm X Academy for 23 years. And I am basically what you would call throughout my whole life a foot soldier. And one of those brothers who show up at the best time for the best rallies. I've worn out maybe 9 pairs of Jordans before they were Jordans. They were All-Stars. So I've been around and been involved in educating and supporting our people on more than just educational level, also on the community level, the mental health level. I worked at Lafayette Clinic until it closed.
You mean the governor called and said,
yes,
turn out the lights and put everybody out on the street?
Not just put them on the street, but send them back to their homes. Let their families now be the providers of mental health. And you know how hectic that became.
Absolutely. All of them didn't have families to go back to. But
and
go ahead.
You're right. And so we had that. And I'm also, I was in the foster care system. I worked there. My primary job was to reunite children who have been placed as temporary court wards by the city or by the state. And my job was to reunify them with their families. So I work with families very closely. You know, I'm talking about those real families. I ain't talking about those ones who have 7-figure salaries. I'm talking about families who trying to live large on a bridge card and try to get them to stabilize their environment, their income, so that they can have their children returned back to them out of the system, because we know, we've always known that the best place for any child is to be close to home.
Right.
So I was one of those kind of brothers who always was around, always trying to lift up our people in any way I could. So I had to kind of pick and choose my moments. Well, I guess I put it this way. My moments were picked and chosen for me. It seemed like every time I looked around, God said, okay, you got to be over here. And you got to handle this. And I have something else for you when you get through with that. So that has always been my position. When I retired in 2013, I thought I'd be able to sit back and hang out and enjoy myself. But well, he let me have a couple of years free. But then,
really?
Yeah, in the back of my mind, I mean, he put little small things in my path for me.
You do more retired than you did working an 8-hour job.
Well, you're not supposed to tell people you retired, because then they think, oh, you can do anything. You got the time. I can put you on my schedule. You know, everybody go over. I got something for you to do. So everybody comes up with a schedule for you to get involved in something, to do something.
Yes, regularly.
I can vouch for that, because I've been off 5 years and I'm doing more now, and I don't know where's the relaxation come in?
Well, not just the relaxation, brother. We got to feed ourselves. You know, we got that car costs gasoline, and so you still have to kind of, you know. They say retirement has a fixed income, but that word fixed, and mine stay broken all the time. That fixed income, that's a myth, you all, unless you all really put in the 7-figure salaries, and you can have something left over. But for us normal brothers who just, you know,
blue collar. White collar.
Oh, yeah, okay. I got a blue collar on. Right. I got you. All right. Thank you.
But that sounds, what you have just shared with us, sounds more like leadership.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, that's what it sounds like to me. A good one.
Big road,
right.
Follow up.
And that is what we need in our community, more leadership. Because right now, what's going on is just sad. And as we had Dabbles on with us this morning, and talking about our culture, the young people in our community don't seem to know what that word is, let alone spell it. And one of the things that is definitely known about our culture is music. And I always have to put in there that the music that we're hearing today is not so much the music itself, but the lyrics that go along with the music. And recently, I think it was a couple of days ago, I have heard over time that this lyric about spray the block, which means just go and shoot up whatever, houses, cars, whatever.
Which just happened on the east side.
Right at the backyard
Block party. Yeah.
However, the other thing is there's some vehicle on the road shooting people who are in their own yards with at this time they've only reported a BB gun, a pellet gun. Will it move from that to something else, according to the lyrics in these rap songs?
You know, and that is, I think a gentleman that was here previously on the show earlier before me, I think he kind of touched on it.
Mm-hmm.
They have weaponized everything about our culture, and that's what we have to keep in mind. They have weaponized the music, our language, our education, our water, our health system. They have weaponized everything they can, and they're using it. And our young people, because they have no culture, or the culture they subscribe to, the subculture, I put it that way, as a sociologist, that's what we would call a subculture, what they have been fed since birth is get rich or die. And that subculture mentality is always there. And so as they grow up, it's getting rich, and it's like the American way. If I discover that A&B or Miss Broad is not at her home, I discover nobody is at home, and I'm going to get in that house, I'm going to claim everything in that house.
Yeah.
Because, I'm going to colonize everything, your car, your backyard. When it comes to the shooting and those kind of things, the actual violence, that's, again, the American way. Everybody hates black folks. They used to have that show, Everybody Hates Chris, but now everybody hates black folks.
Right.
And even we hate black folks. And I noticed the term that he used. He says black folks and, African folks and colored folks and Negroes and need to grow more. All that, even our name, has been weaponized against us. So, what you're seeing now over the period of the last 30 years, they got to do this generational stuff. So what generation are we in now? Generation X?
Q.
Yeah.
X squared, I don't know.
Well, I call them Generation X because it's something like the Xerox generation.
Right.
They copy everything stupid.
Yeah.
If it's stupid, they're going to copy it. They're going to copy it. They're going, oh, you did that? It's something, even in the classroom. If some student throws a piece of paper at someone, there's another student that's going to do more. I'm going to throw the whole trash can at them. Right. So it's they go to upload the foolishness because it's easier to be foolish than it is to sit back and be mature and wise and intelligent. So this is what our children are going through, and this is what they see from their parents. And just so we can move on, I want to make this little statement here. They're always using this cliche, kids these days, right? You hear that all the time. Kids these days. Kids. No. These are the same kids I was. Hard-headed and ready to do my thing like water. I'm going for the least resistance. But we had parents and community to slow that roll. So when my mama said, boy, you better slow your roll, that's what she meant. And she was able to slow our rolls. Right now, there's no one slowing these kids' rolls. And because our children are able to just go to the least resistance like water, the lowest points, that's what we're seeing. That's what they've taken away the power of the parent to nurture and to bring about the psychotic, the psychological framework in which these children should be looking at the world.
Well, when did the command, statement, law, commandment stop? You better be on the porch when the street lights come on. Not on your way home.
Well, I'll just jump.
Better be on the porch.
Now I'm gonna throw this in. And I'm gonna let you take it away, brother. I'm gonna pass the baton. Now, if some of you remember back in the '60s, it may have been the early '70s. Sly Stone made a song called babies making babies. So they were too immature to know what they were doing, you know, having children 13, 14, 15 years old. So you have a teenager trying to raise a child and still be a teenager and enjoy the fast life. Today, we know it's the same thing. It's a lot of young females and males, females bearing children, obviously, who are having children, but they still, I know people in their 40s who are still trying to act like they're in their 20s because they feel like because they had their children early that they missed something, so they dressing like their daughter, you know, they got the stretch pants on and this and that. But I'm going to let you take it, brother. What happened to be on the porch when the street lights was on?
Yeah.
Okay, but see, that was back during the time, and that's what we have to keep in mind when and where you enter. During those street light days, we still had racism quite prevalent, even here in the city. I remember the Big Four and what the police would do if they catch you walking around the street alone. They talking about Black Lives Matter. I mean, you know, shooting African Americans back in those days was a favorite pastime. You know, so we now that we're transcended, as they would say about President Obama, we're post-racial. So now we can hang out. In fact, our children can hang like wet clothes in the wintertime. They're going to never get dry. They stay out there because there's no fear of the racism. You know, we're not sundown towns anymore, okay? We figure that we own this. So with that certain amount of freedom, they're allowed to now, you know, the old values, the old ways are now not being recognized. They're not really being responsive. So, yeah, you can be after street lights. And, in fact, you know, that's how the last mayor got in there because there was no street lights. If you remember, we had Detroit had no street lights, so it was like no curfew. I mean, hey, we can hang out, man. We didn't got to be home because the street light never came on.
Yeah, and he took out, what was it, 20% of the street lights when he changed.
So yeah, so
them.
You got to understand the conditions for the street lights are no longer there.
Okay, Victor Gibson.
I've been called worse.
Victor Gibson. That's what many people call you, and a sociologist as well.
Yes.
Okay.
I have
now
a graduate degree in sociology.
You all right? Victor Gibson has a graduate degree in sociology.
Oh, I also have a PhD.
We have a PhD in pitiful stuff around here, so we need to hear about it because you mentioned racism. And I have been talking to young people. I don't know why, but I just thought it would be good to find out what they were thinking, etc. And I have found that they don't know what racism is. They don't know what systemic racism is. Talk to us about that.
Well, they don't see it. It's institutionalized now, so they don't see it.
Okay.
When we grew up, we saw the dogs, we saw the blatant, we saw the forces, we felt it physically, not only mentally, but physically. These children are not being, they're not being impacted straight up by racism. So what they see now is like, again, freedom. So what now the standard is, let's see how you rate. So if you're in education, so now that's another way of seeing racism.
Okay.
So you're not qualified. You know, that was the one thing about your qualifications.
Yeah.
That when it comes down to your boss, you wonder why he's picking on you more than anybody else, why he's stressing you out more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say, well, you know, they don't like my hair now. You know, they start targeting individual things.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like the way you drove your car. I mean, so they don't say, I don't like you because you're black or because you have your skin tone. They pick at other little minor things that they know you did not, that you're not paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're reshifting the matrix of identifying and using racism now. So our children don't see it. They're not aware of it. They don't know that it still exists. Their parents are telling them it ain't about black thing no more.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you this goes back to what you were saying earlier. So how do we go from brothers and sisters to N's and B's overnight?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so even how we address each other,
Mm-hmm.
and we've made those lovable terms.
Right.
So you my ninja now, you know what I'm saying? You my ninja though, you know what I mean? Oh, that's my beat, man, my beat. So we've turned it around so it does not look like racism.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how, they put it in, as Jim Jones did, they put it in the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Lord,
So you didn't even know, but it's in the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And we love Kool-Aid.
Oh, Lord.
They sell it at most of the stores now. See, they have.
Kool-Aid.
They actually can go in there and get a combo meal instead of getting a Coke or a Sprite. You can get Kool-Aid.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, they're selling Kool-Aid. Girl, you better put a smile on your face when you say Kool-Aid.
That's on the picture they put out. But anyway, there were two. Well, they may have retired by now. 2 police officers, female. And they were being harassed because of the way they wore their hair was braided.
Yes, you see
and they were harassed because their hair was braided. So they had to go to their union and fight to get support from their union, which they finally got successful, output. And the female police officers today can now wear braids, and I don't know if they're wearing anything else, but that particular issue I did learn about. But like you were saying, to harass somebody, if they could have gotten upset enough, emotional enough that they just quit the police department, but they didn't. They did fight back because there was nothing wrong with the braids. They were clean, they were neat,
Well, they remember the story where one of the teachers went and cut the little girl's hair in school. Yeah, it's in school. She was going to school, and the teachers thought that her braids or her hair was not inducive with the norm mainstream
European.
Yes, and they cut it.
Oh.
And the parents went ballistic. I guess the case was resolved in the parents' favor, but that's what we're looking at now. Everything has to go with the habeas corpus route when it comes to racism and the hair. Again, the hair, where you live, your zip codes. I mean, some of the benefits. I mean, even your area,
right?
Your zip codes can be used against you.
Yes,
yes. So racism is a tricky thing to identify, especially when in schools you're no longer even sharing these things. You're not even highlighting the civics of and the social studies of your community. You're not doing
But
that.
there are businesses that won't service you if you live in the wrong zip code, like our carpet cleaners or whomever.
Cab companies.
They'll ask you
Ask you the
No, not just where you may live in a positive zone, but where you're going.
Right.
We don't go to
that too.
East Side. We don't.
Not happening.
It's not happening. So racism
That's
is there.
racist. And the other thing, when they changed the name of that city from East Detroit to East Point, that was racist. But it's not being identified today as racism. I don't know what people think it is, but it is racist.
It's like what the brother was saying. The key word here is institutionalized. It's become so mainstream and normalized that you don't see it. Whereas back in the day, of course, colored entrance, white entrance, colored fountain, white fountain, et cetera, et cetera. It was blatant then, very overt. Now it's very covert, and unfortunately, and it's not the children's fault. I'll say that as well, because they're not exposed to it, so they're not supposed to know. Just like if you don't know anything, I'm a guitar player, so if you don't know nothing about Jimi Hendrix, it's not your fault you don't know about him. It doesn't decrease his popularity and his legend, but same thing with racism. I just use him as an example because I love Hendrix. But if you are not exposed to it, you go into a place, and they following you around, because that was something that was very typical then too. They'd follow you around. Now they got cameras. They ain't got to follow you around. They just look at the monitor and see if you're sticking something in your pocket or something.
Yeah, well, that again, the weaponization of our communities with these cameras everywhere. And now they're convincing people to put them on your homes. So now you can tap into that. But again, they became sophisticated in their racism. We haven't become sophisticated enough to how we're going to combat that.
Right.
Because our children look at all of us as adults, and you've been here 60 years, and you ain't got $15 in your pocket. You know, if I'm gonna have $1 million tomorrow, so you know I'm gonna have mine. So you know whatever you about to say to me, it must not be too good because whatever you think, it didn't help. If this is where it got you, so how you gonna share something with me that didn't get you but X amount of dollars, and I'm gonna get something that's gonna get me 8 times, 20 times as much money,
and more time in jail too.
No, Lord.
Well, you know that's easy time. So that's what the young people say. That's easy time. We can do easy time. In fact, that's that rite of passage. They're using that. They're using that.
That's true.
So when I told you I had a PhD from SWU because I dropped out of school at Northwestern when I was in the 10th grade. I couldn't take it no more. But then I went on and got my PhD from Sidewalk University. Yeah. So I know how to live the streets. I can survive in any street in the country in African American cities just by knowing the rules of the street. There are rules and laws, and you have to be aware of these rules and laws as you're going to move through these streets. Now, a lot of people look like turkeys walking down the street with wolves on both sides of the street. Well, yeah, you're going to be victimized because you look like a victim. So if you're going to go in there, but these are the things our children don't understand, our people don't really understand.
Right. Well, it's time for us to take a top of the hour break. We got to pause for the calls. And those of you who are enjoying the program, call others, tell them to tune in as well. And we will be back with Victor Gibson, also known as Barbara Gibson, after these messages.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
Everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, there gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime. It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Wallman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the chew germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
Hello, I'm James Ford. I survived a red light runner, but will you? You know, Michigan has had 1,123 auto accident deaths a year. That's 21 per week. We know Detroit alone has 156 deaths, and that equals 3 a week. Those stats do not include the 550 people that are crippled and disabled a month. At 12 noon, September 18th, 2024, people in Detroit and other cities in Michigan will meet in Lansing, state capital, and complain about red light running, drag racing, and hallucinated driving. Yes, bring your lawn chairs, September 18th, Detroit and all Michigan cities will ask legislatures to enforce and enact laws that will stop drag racing and red light running and hallucinated driving. You know, this is not different than the Flint water crisis. People are dying. Join us Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. If you like, call 586-918-3061 for more information. Drag racing, red light running, hallucinated driving, it must stop. Stand up, September 18th. Call and share your input. Call 586-918-3061 or call 701-301-3118. Also, again, people of all nationalities, express your input and ideas at 586-918-3061 or 701-301-3118 to stop drag racing, red light running, and hallucinated driving. Thank you, and God bless everybody. Thank you.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product. Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that. Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Welcome to WHPR 88.1 FM and TV 33 studios. Inside, you'll find our warm and comfortable guest lobby. For our corporate radio and television meetings, this is our executive boardroom. And for our radio shows, here's our newly renovated radio station, WHPR 88.1 FM. Broadcasting from Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan, where we welcome you to have your own radio show. Just call us at 313-868-6612. Block time is available. We're a versatile station, streaming on the World Wide Web from our radio station at www.fm881whpr.com. Walk with me down the hall to Studio B, where we broadcast live and tape our talk shows on UHF TV 33. Here's our main control room for TV 33. We also have a fully operational kitchen for luncheons and meetings. This is our brand new Virgin Islands studio, boasting live audio and video capabilities. Broadcasting live in the Virgin Islands over WVIE and streaming over the internet at RadioWeCanSee.com. We can be seen and heard around the globe. This is our Virgin Islands studio waiting room and lounge. Stop by our gift shop to pick up your WHPR souvenirs. Our viewing room provides a comfortable space for viewing and production meetings. Our brand new remote truck allows us to produce cost-effective live productions from anywhere in the city. Adjacent to our Virgin Islands studio is our concert hall and meeting facilities. Also on site is our 199-foot broadcast tower. Let's talk about our movie studio, Studio A, the home of Studio 33. It's designed for video shoots, photography sessions, plays, receptions, rehearsals, and concerts. The facilities boast a 35-foot ceiling, a 15-foot garage door, and Studio A is 4,000 square feet in size, with 2 endless cyc walls, 3 portable screens, including a green screen. Located at 166 Victor Street in Highland Park, we have gated and well-lit private parking also on the premises. For anyone interested in any of our many amenities, give us a call at 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Or email us at rjwatkinstv33@live.com. Henry Tyler, Vice President. R.J. Watkins, CEO.
WGPR Detroit, HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.
Victor Gibson, a retired educator from the Detroit Public School System, also known as Baba Gibson. You know, I want to thank you for being here with us this morning. You were talking about knowing the rules and regulations on the street. And you know, in government, we need to know about rules and regulations. Policies, I think, would be a better term as the term they use in government. And not enough of our people realize that the policies that are developed by people that we elect to the positions they hold. And if they were to realize that, perhaps more of them would get involved. What do you say?
When you said it, you know, and that's usually what people, we look at the politicians as if they're the ones who are actually doing it. But recently, in my looking at Trump and dealing with all that stuff that's coming out of out of government now, not just Trump, just the whole January 6th movement, the whole thing about 2025, it is not so much the individual politicians. It is the people who are sponsoring them. The political machine now can be had and bought. And so we're not looking at the corporate buy-in to the political system. It used to be, yes, it was manned by people that had a little integrity. Politicians used to carry themselves with a little integrity, a little character. But now with they call it lobbying. That's a new word they get it for. For just being bribed and the bribery issue. But they made it legal to now take bribes, so they call it lobbying. So the way who's lobbying, and they're the ones pulling the string. I think somebody once said, "America is the best country money can buy."
Hey,
Okay.
that sounds like what they call a truism.
And so I mean, the politicians themselves. I mean, look how many now are easily flipped, because the thing about it is, once the corporation gets through with you, then they flip you. Now all your misdeeds are now, hey, we got the receipts that this person took money. We got the receipt that this woman did X, Y, and Z. So after they use you up in the politics of things, then they cast you aside. So politicians are not the same. We can't say politicians and look at them in the same way we used to.
Right.
Things have changed.
I agree. But I also say that that's a reason why we as members of the black community need to work together and support those that we know, those that we have grown up with, socialized with, had an opportunity to find out that they have good character, find out that they are concerned and are interested and willing to change so we have a better community.
Now, my thought is this, and I've said this over the years, how do we remove the apathy? Because that's the whole problem right there, being apathetic. How do we remove the apathy from our people, number one? We'll deal with everybody else later, but just within our community. the ones that are affected, 48205, 48219, et cetera. How do we remove the apathy so that they'll want to become involved? I think that's our biggest challenge, because if they're not apathetic, then they're going to be involved.
I think we have to be concerned about media. When Victor Gibson mentioned the presidential candidate, it takes me back to the debate, if I must mention it. And in the debate, the media has just hammered away about the current president, Joe Biden, okay? And they continue to talk about him. They say nothing about the other candidate. Joe Biden is 81. Oh, look at that age. Yeah, like 3 years ago, you knew he was going to be 81. Okay? So he's 81. The question is, can he do the job? But the media has never, that I have heard, talked on and on and on about the 30 lies told in 90 minutes by Donald Trump. People probably don't even know he told lies. He was all trying to be calm, cool, and collected as he lied through the debate. It's interesting. Why has not the media spent the same amount of time talking about that candidate?
You know, it's funny that you should bring that up again. It's our memory.
Mm-hmm.
We don't remember much more than 10 weeks, than 2 months ago. And we don't look into the future no more than 5 minutes from now. We understand, or those of us who are old enough to understand Watergate. When Watergate happened, I mean, if you were around during Watergate, or any in the 60s, and especially during assassination times, Watergate was a political watershed that showed that the media can cover and bring down a president. And so, you know, if you remember that time, I mean, everything about Watergate, the scandal, the break-ins, the guard who started it, initiated it, all that was up front. And so after that happened, people didn't understand that the big heads, the corporations said, okay, we're going to let this happen again. Every media station, news, TV, radio, it changed hands. It changed hands. So now we are not getting news media. What we're getting is propaganda. And so there's a different thing. So people argue. You got to watch how people argue. If they argue based on what they heard on the news, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so that right there, you're already in trouble. Now getting back to the Biden thing, it's kind of sad that we'll use geriatrics as a way to say your unworthiness, but you still ain't done with the 37 counts of felony against the other guy. You still haven't gotten to the whole January. In fact, you're trying to delay the whole January 6th thing to after the election, so when he get in, he can institute his 2025 plan to shut it all down and make it all disappear. So we look at politics and politricks now as a game, as a scam, and so the whole media thing is now looked at as a tool. Not that, I mean, look at Fox 2 News. Murdoch, from a British, somebody corrected me and said he's Australian, which is, you know, what's the difference anyway? They control that part of the media, and I thought that was against the law for a foreign national to control the media in the United States.
This country.
But you can tell the difference whenever there's a national broadcast. Have two TVs next to each other, and so when you look at, say, have two on one channel and have 7 or 4 or whatever on another. Look at the delay. There's a delay because the signal has to be first sent back to Britain before it's bounced back to the United States.
Wow,
okay? So there's going to be that delay, and you can see it. Now 4 and 7 will be right on time. You know, lockstep, you see the words coming right out of their mouth. But 2...
Like a Chinese movie.
Yes. There's that delay. So, you know, being in control of media, and if you know the art of war states communication is the key. If you cannot communicate with your people across countries and smoke signals back in the day for Native Americans. The drums, I mean, if you can't communicate doing the art, doing your struggles, then you had a severe disability.
Yeah.
And look at the news. Look at the TV stations we've had here. Look at this thing. Let's look at this one. I mean, they make sure that you don't get much wattage. They make sure if they can't shut you down, they'll keep you down. Okay, and so our people are not hearing our message, Miss Broden. Our people are not hearing the truth, Miss Broden, and that's what they're relying on. Again, people will argue what was news said on the news last night. That's their whole basis. They don't read it.
Right. It's whatever they heard. But you know now that the COVID is still around. Don't make no bones about that. It is still here. However, since COVID has been calmed down and the promotion and all of this, and people can be in person more now, they need to begin attending some of the community meetings because they were afraid to go anywhere, and rightly so. But there's a little more out there now, and they need to attend school board meetings. There'll be one tomorrow night. You need to be there at 5:30 if you want to talk to the school board or the superintendent. And it's going to be held at Finney High School, now called East English Village on Cashew.
What time?
5:30. You need to be there, and you go east 94 exit on Cashew, make a right-hand turn. It's a big campus. You can't miss it. But the address is 2050 Cashew. We have somebody on the line.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how are you viewing us, please?
Yes, it's Sister Henry, and I'm viewing you on WHPR TV, channel 15.2, and I'm calling to remind you that the heavy supporters of Donald Trump are the CEOs of media.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to do with whether it's NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. All of them are heavy supporters of Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, now
past and current, and I'm sure perhaps in the future.
Right.
That's all I want to say.
Right, and a lot of that happened when the FCC changed over with its manager, if you will. I'm glad you shared that with us. But also, when you talk about CEOs, you know the group that claimed they did this Project 25. It's got 900 pages to it to change this country to a dictatorship. One of the things, or one of the groups I didn't think about last night was the Federalist Society. But what Donald Trump appears to be is a puppet. Remember that song? I'm your puppet. You know, that's exactly what he seems to be. When he was in the debate, it made me think about Pinocchio. And I kept hoping his nose would grow while he was on there. Darn, you know, it didn't. But to be a puppet, and the reason that I say that is because when the head of what is the company that wrote this was on, he was interviewed. It's like it seemed to me that he was tired of Donald Trump getting all this credit, so he came out talking about he was one of the authors of the 25 Project. And that being the case, he was letting you know, and he didn't miss his words. He said, and if he does not do right or does something wrong, we will check him. That tells you that Donald Trump ain't in charge of crap. He is a puppet.
And that is something that I don't know why people don't fully understand. That man doesn't have the capacity to run
right
on his own merits. He doesn't have any merits for that capability.
We have a caller.
Yes. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Yes, you guys do an incredible job. This is my comment about you guys on RJ Watkins Live on Facebook.
Thank you for joining us.
Great show.
Well, thank you.
I want to say I missed the Devil's piece, but I got people watching telling me it was a great piece with Brother Devils in the house. feedback, getting the information out. Brother Victor Gibson, how you doing, sir? Good to see you in the building.
Good to be seen and not viewed.
Yes, indeed. And you're right. That's the Federalist Society, the one that wrote this 2025 piece, addressed by the Heritage Foundation. Is all conservative think tanks. That's the main thing. They got think tanks putting out policy over there. Republican office.
Then can you think of the name of the other group, Federal Society, but the ones that were deeply into Project 25?
The Heritage?
That's it.
The Heritage
Foundation. Thank you.
Yeah,
The
that's what
Heritage Foundation. Oh, he was very indignant when he was home. He let you know in no uncertain terms that you think Trump is in control of this. You better look at the Heritage Foundation.
I want to ask all three of you.
Look at the vice president.
What? You going in and out? What?
Who's going to run for his vice president? I think.
Trump.
Trump's, because he has not chosen the vice president.
He was supposed to announce it on the 11th. Now I guess he's changed his mind.
And I want to ask the three of you, if anyone, because this is new to me, what is Project 2025? Because, I've heard that phrase only within the last couple of days or so I have no idea what it is. And I'm sure a lot of others also would like to know, what is Project 2025?
Victor Gibson?
Okay, well, let me put it this way. Remember the Black Panther Party 10-point plan?
Right.
Well, 2025 is like the anti-Black Panther 2020 10-point plan. They're basically saying that if Trump gets in there, he's going to get rid of Social Security. He's going to get rid of a lot of the programs that benefit people of color or people or poor people.
Medicaid.
Yes. So he wants to go and basically reinstitute all the social organizations, social structure that benefits the average Joe. And that doesn't mean, that's not based on color. That's just based on monopoly. I think John Lewis said it best during the 50th celebration of Selma. That when he came out of Brown's Temple, Brown Chapel, whichever one that church is, he says it's not about black and white, it's about green. And so this whole push for the 2025 plan is basically to demolish the individual liberties and freedoms that we take for granted. And that is what Trump has been sworn to do. I've read them. I didn't commit it to memory because I'm like, okay, now if you all fall for this, then let America just fall straight to hell, because that's basically what it's doing.
Huh?
Real quick, just sum it up for you, to be what it's about is small government. The Republicans have been talking about small government for the longest. They've been talking about getting rid of the education, getting rid of all these various departments, Department of Labor, for a long time. That's the main thing, which means that's jobs that's going to disappear. The largest employer of black folks is the public sector. That's all we need to know. If you have small government, you got less black folks working that's making good money, that's in unions, that's going to have what? A pension when they done working. This is the main thing. So black folks better wake up. You know somebody in your family that worked for the public sector. And luckily, most of them been retired and they're getting a pension. If you mess around and let these Republicans get in here, their main thing is they want Social Security. They want to get at that, dump that into the stock market, and pretty much wipe it out. So all I got to say is that's 2025 in a nutshell, and all they got to do is Google it, and they'll find all the information they need.
Yes, because they want to get rid of public schools. Because this whole push for charter schools, big business. So, if you look at it, you can Google it, and if you want to pay attention to it, that's fine. Right now, I'm too old to pay attention to rhetoric of that type, but I know there's a lot of people out here who are still beholden to Trump because of that stimulus check that they got.
But wait, stop. Trump, no. The check did not come from him. What happened was he was pitching a B because his name was not on the dotted line to appear as if the money came from him. People fell for that dumb trick.
What's the sister name? The white sister, I can't think of her.
Pelosi?
Nancy Pelosi, yes.
Yeah.
She came up with it, but Trump said he wouldn't. I'm the one who have to sign it. Now, you can come up with it, Ms. Broden. You can come up with the idea of paying these people but your bank account is linked to my check account. So until I put my check, but the reality is, people didn't say Nancy Pelosi. Our people did not say Nancy Pelosi. They said who? They said Trump.
Right.
And in their minds, again, that media. The media put it in their heads that Trump gave you that signed it, and so they partied like a rock star.
And let me help y'all understand the powerful influence of media. When this is during the Obama administration, when they mentioned Obamacare, it was thumbs down. But when they said the Affordable Care Act, thumbs up. It shows you the ignorance of the people who don't research, who don't try to find out, and who take sound bites, catchphrases, etc., and take them as if they're gospel. So just to what you're saying there, brother, and Theo also, it's the same thing. The people are not savvy, and they really don't want to be savvy. You know, show us some reruns of Sanford and Son or Hollywood 90210 for the Caucasians, you know. Make sure that everybody is satisfied. Give sports to the guys that need sports. Give soap operas to the women who need soap operas. Lord. Keep them distracted so that way, and then feed them lies in the media, because they're not going to research. They don't want to, and they really don't. I mean, because if they did, they do it. I mean, we do it because we want to do it. That's our passion. You look at the majority of people, all they want to do is go to work, get a check, get some TV dinners, throw them in the microwave, sit down, and, you know, now you can stream everything. So they going back to
5,000 channels.
Yeah. You don't have to be intelligent. All you have to do is just be another cog or gear in the machinery of the political structure of this country. And it's working out very well, I must say.
Critical thinking is hard work.
Yes.
It is hard work. And you must really understand that. See, once you find out the truth will make you do something. 3 minutes. So, you know, we're looking at the point of time now where it's about kick back and relax. I mean, look at the idea of chilling. Now, you chill because you worked out in the field for all day, can't see in the morning, can't see at night. You're hot, you're tired, you come home, you chill. You went to the factory. I worked there for a time too. Local 680, local 600, boom.
Mom.
Yes. But then when you get off work, you want to come home and chill, relax. Right. Well, this generation is chilling the first thing in the morning, all afternoon, and all night. But where's the work come in? Where's the effort? Where's the change? Where's the sweat come in? They're not sweating. No. They're not getting tired. They're not exuberating themselves unless they're doing drive-bys, and I'm saying that can be hard work too. Yeah. But other than that, they're chilling all day, every day. So when you're talking about getting up and doing something, doing the work, there's no work to be done, according to them. I mean, because the check is in the mail. Oh, well, it's going to be upgraded in my bridge card. And that's why when I made that statement, living large on the bridge card, that's what our people are doing now. Because it's like they're retired. They retired at 18. Or they're living like they're retired at 18.
Right.
I'm grown now. That's the thing now. Y'all watch out for that slogan.
So that means that we as adults, retired adults, have to do more. You cannot get tired, because what happens with them affects us. If they get to a point where they don't want to do anything and they find out there's no food being delivered, wait a minute, they're going to have to do something. And if they don't get it in a moral way, legally, right, then it is going to mean that they're going to attack us. So that there again, you're going to have to do more work whether you want to or not. It's different than an 8-hour job, but there's still work that has to be done. Now, Victor Gibson, I'm so glad that you've been with us this morning, and we're going to have some additional conversations, because there's a lot more to sort out. There's a lot more to share, and there's a lot more to encourage people to participate in this process that we have going on. The election process is not going away.
I definitely want to be here for that conversation, because that conversation is going to take a little while. We have all these voters who are sitting around chilling.
Yeah, right.
They're not coming out to the polls. Well, we have 12% average turnout for any.
Lord, yes.
So, and the primary, we got to keep, that's, if you don't get your people through the primary, then you don't have no horse in the race come November.
Exactly.
So we're going to have to really push that out and get our people, devote some time, it's your show, but devote some time really to not voter registration, but voter motivation.
I like that. Voter motivation. Yes. Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. So
I'm retired.
See there? See? He's volunteering for the job, y'all. So how do people get in touch with you?
Basically, they can get in touch with me through my email, Victor B. Gibson @yahoo.com. Now, I will tell you, I'm a Flintstone. Okay, so you Jetsons out there, y'all be careful. If you're going to send me an email, you make sure you somehow tell me to look it up, because I don't just sit at a tablet and scroll through emails. I don't do it. I do have a phone number, but I don't really want to give it out because I don't want to answer the phone with all y'all. But the best way I would say is look me up on my Facebook. That's about the easiest way to do it. Victor B at Yahoo at Facebook. Don't try to friend me because I don't want to remember everybody's birthdays. I'm tired of that. There's too many birthdays to remember. But if you reach out to me that way, if you go to my Facebook and then inbox me, I'll do any one-on-one that way.
Okay. And the email once again
is Victor B. Gibson @yahoo.com.
All right. Well,
it's all lowercase. No
all
nothing
lowercase.
special.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today and sharing with us. And we will have Victor B. Gibson on with us, because we got to deal with this voter apathy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And as I said at the end of our program, it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. And we at Hood Research seek out as much as we can to share with you and encourage you to share with us. Hood Research has a conference call every Saturday from 3 p.m. until 6. You can find the numbers on our Facebook page. Anyway, the number for Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. Again, the number for Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. Our email is contact@hoodresearch.org. Again, that's CONTACT, the little @ symbol, HOODRESEARCH.org. So you can email us, call us, go to our Facebook page, and above all, join Hood Research, $20 a year. That helps to put this program on, as a matter of fact. Lifetime membership is $300. But we want you to go to the Facebook page, get the numbers for the conference call that takes place on Saturday. Now, for those who have pen and paper handy, like the BD asked, it's a 1-978-990-5000. Rings one time. Access code is 338729. Press the pound key, and you got us every Saturday, 3 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Victor Gibson, for being our guest.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome at the BD.
Join us next week. Peace.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.